diversify. You can do whatever you want to do. And I will just say this lastly. Elapal, thank you for sending a cold storage device. I'll be reviewing this and make a video later. I think you should even diversify in your cold storage devices. But that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. I don't care who you subscribe to. Just get your news from somebody that you like and trust. It may not be me. Maybe it's Tom Crown or some other people that are out there. That'd be great. But that concludes everything for the news today. Now, if you're so inclined to, stick around with me. We'll chat a little bit. I'll answer some of your questions at best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. But if you got to take off, it's Sunday. Go enjoy the day. But if not, let's talk a little, whatever you want to talk about, and go from there. All right. Meme. All fair offense is big hearts. Thank you. I appreciate the hearts. Meme says, agree with Rob, still using Ledger Nano X. Bought a Keystone, so now legs on back. I got to tell you, I've heard some good things about Keystone. I should probably reach out to them and see what it's all about. It looks like a pretty good device. I will just tell you that there is one indicator that I look for bull runs, and it's when Mullet shows up in the chats. So now that he's here, I can confirm, without looking at any TA or any kind of MACD or any kind of RSI, when Mullet does a comment on my channel, usually we're in a bull run. All right, I feel better today. Shalon says, so can my ledger survive being put in a washing machine like my passport and credit cards? I don't know. I put my iPhone in the washer one time, and it actually worked out pretty well. I mean, for a couple months, and it broke down. Marky, a legend. Thank you, Marky, for showing up. The Brink says that I don't trust anything in the U.S., and you are wise for doing that, I have to admit. Oh, Marty says, is it too late to start drop shipping for Amazon? How would you start now? First of all, the best time to really get into drop shipping is towards the end of Q3 into Q4, because you ramp up for the holiday seasons. And I am not the person to learn from. If you want to look for anything as far as like Amazon shipping or drop shipping, look for a guy named Beau Crable, Beaucrabill. He's the person I learned everything from, and you can find him on the internet. Because quite honestly, it's super boring. Alex says, Rob needs more Tesla. I have some Tesla. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Yeah. Carlos, I'm not only lost with the Voyager BS, now I lost some of my Bitcoin thanks to Prime Trust going down. Yeah. And also as a reminder, they just opened up removals or extractions. You can take out your crypto from Voyager right now. The thing is, I will tell you that some people, this is what I've heard so far. First of all, it's going to take up to 10 days to take your crypto from Voyager onto your whatever device, hot storage, cold storage, whatever else it is, up to 10 days. Sometimes it moves a little faster, sometimes a little bit slower. Some people said that there's some error message that have gone through. And everybody who said that said, what you need to do is delete the actual app and reinstall it. I had the same error message. I just updated the app and it worked out just fine. So I'm waiting for my funds to arrive into my Ledger device. Maybe I'll do an Elapal later. So that's what's happening. And yeah, unfortunately, you can only get like up to 35%. Correct me in the comment section. And maybe if they can claw back things from 3 Arrows Capital, those jerks, maybe we'll get some more back, but don't bank on anything. All right. What'd I miss? And Dan says, I almost bought a Ledger, then they were hacked. I don't know what to do. Remember, the Ledger device itself, it was never hacked for your private keys. It was hacked by a third party, some kind of API integration that they used, and they extracted your personal data, which would be your name and your address. I know that part sucks, but let's be honest. How much of our data is floating around the internet right now? I guarantee I can find most of you, if I really needed to, on the internet. So I just want to make that distinction. Spectre 8, 35.72%. Fantastic. That's how much you get back from Voyager. I got to tell you, I love Voyager. I talk about it all the time on this channel. I thought it was great. The problem was I made the dumbest decision, the dumbest business decision I've ever heard. They did an uncollateralized loan of $640 million to 3 Arrows Capital, and all because of a piece of paper that said that they had it. Whew. Genius. Or call it Mensa, whatever. Let's see. Rusty Bot, how safe is Fireblocks? Seems safe. Don't know. I mean, they've been in the business for quite some time. They've never been hacked. They look pretty good. But again, so did FTX. They looked pretty good for a while, right? Till everything just collapsed. I don't know. Just between us and the 1,000 people that are here, sometimes I kind of feel like we're way too early in this whole game. I don't know if you feel like that, but it seems like when I got in, the gold standard was cold storage. And then when Ledger pulled that stunt, it seemed like it wasn't the gold standard. And then people were like, we're just going to use paper wallets. And then I thought to myself, you can use that, but is that the way forward? Everybody's going to have a piece of paper hanging around, just have their crypto, and they go into like use their crypto on a paper wallet? It doesn't make any sense. To me, it just feels like we're on not a house of cards, but we're really on unstable land, and hopefully things work out and nothing gets more hacked or more insolvency or more problems. And it's more important that we really do the right things and pick the right organizations and institutions to get behind, because if not, you just lose everything. And that wasn't like that not too long ago. When I got in 2017, the problem was the market and the manipulation. And now it seems like we're battling the people that we're supposed to be trusting. And it's like we're getting screwed on both ends. So it kind of wears on you. This is one of those days where it wears on me. But don't worry, we'll all be fine. We just put our head down and show up to work and do our job. Tommy says, you were early until you're late. If you're not first, you're last. Oh, now here is a real OG. Geometric Opposition says Stone Paper Wallet, getting my 23% back from Gawk soon. Man, you must be around. Must be around for quite some time. That was such a long time ago. Wow. Yeah. A Grandi substitute. I can't say that word. Sorry. Phones are not 100% safe. Remember the SIM swap attacks. You know who had a really good advice? Two people. Dave from Crazy for Cryptos and Scott from Wolf of Wall Streets. Dave from Crazy for Cryptos said, you can use, instead of using phones for like your device, he goes, you can use an old computer as a cold storage device. Just make sure it's not connected to the internet. And Scott, what he would do is he would use an old phone that wasn't have access to like a SIM card, and he would just put on the Google Authenticator app on that phone that never had internet access and just use that. I thought it was a pretty good idea. Opinion on Ledger stacks. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks super cool. I have no idea. And let me be clear about Ledger. Like, I'm not demonizing them for the decision they did. I thought it was a pretty good business decision, especially if you want to, generate revenue. Just because when you buy a Ledger, how many are you going to buy? I'm like, I got 3, but I don't know how many you got. So if you're looking for another stream of revenue, $9.95 a month that you can charge for the noobs is cool, because then, you can actually make more money. The bottom line is pretty good. The problem is that the people like that audience is not us. The audience right now in this bear market, it's really the ones that are the OGs that say, hey, I can use a Ledger, I can self-custody, get out of my way. I know what's going on. Their product is for the next wave of people, in my personal opinion, that come in and say, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I heard about, this Mt. Gox and Voyagers and Celsius and FTXs. So what do? Oh, I can self-custody and someone else is going to help me for $10 a month. Cool. If you can separate those two products, you got a winner. And that's what I want to talk to Charles about when he comes on the show. Yeah, if you're a multi-millionaire, it makes sense having a multi-sig like Ledger's doing. As long as you trust your family, never know what they'll do to you. Future Millionaire says, Rob, do you personally think crypto will still hit another low? I was calling for a Bitcoin 12K, I'll admit it. But I never thought when we hit 17,000 that was the low. And I was right on that one. Now, I think I might be wrong in the 12K one. I might be. But it just seems like you never know where things are going. So we did this yesterday. We talked about DCAing. I don't really care what's going to happen here. If it hits 12K, cool. You know what happens if Bitcoin hits 12K? You know where like Ethereum will go? $300, $400. Cardano will be 6 cents, 5 cents, 4 cents. BNB, I don't know. Everything will drop. So when I think about all these things, I think this is good times. Because if it drops, well, I'm just DCing. I'm just waiting for 2025 anyhow, or maybe 2026. So I just get to accumulate more. I got time. Bill says, black swan event sometime in the near future is possible. It's always possible, right? Let's see. Brad, you could already have 100x leverage on existing Bitcoin ETFs. Options if you're fully degen. For futures, I don't know where you do that though. And if you want to learn about that stuff, there's 2 places to go to. Guy over at Coin Bureau, he's got his own TA section now. And the guy that runs that, fantastic. And then of course, Tom Crown, if you want to learn about more of like the trading aspect, I'm not your guy for that one. Tommy goes, what's going on with iTRUST? I just talked about it for like 15 minutes. You're going to have to rewind this when we get done. Let's see. Rusty bot. BlackRock could fork, but they will still need the miners on their side. This is what they're talking about here is the Bitcoin ETF that's coming in. The big concern is that BlackRock wants to fork Bitcoin and then go for some other derivative of like a Bitcoin, a fork of Bitcoin, which they would control. But again, that's his proof of work. Rusty Bot's correct. If it's proof of work, you're going to have to control 51% of the miners as well. I don't think that's going to happen. They just put that in the ETF. What I think is going to happen is this. It's not going to be approved. I know people say that's moronic, but it's how I see things. I just don't think Gary Gensler is going to just all of a sudden switch his stance and be like, yeah, you know what, this isn't manipulated, and then go from there and then really be high on the crypto market. I think what Gary Gensler wants to do is kind of slow everything down, not so his people can get in, but also for the American government to get in with their CBDCs. Remember, that's also an option. It's just a guesstimate. Who knows? So I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be good for BlackRock anyhow, because even if they don't get it approved, they'll probably get it approved at some point. They're the biggest. So all they got to do is go to their customers like, look, remember that ETF that didn't get approved? Look how much Bitcoin pumped, which it did, just on this little news that we did. We're going to go for another ETF. It's going to get approved, and we want you guys to be a part of that. I think that would be a great conversation with the massive amount of wealth that's out there. You know, boomers have, I want to say and we did a chart. I know it's over $28 trillion. It's a lot of money. So if you can have that conversation with those people and to diversify 1 to 3% of their portfolio, you got a winner. All right, what'd I miss? Is there a white swan event? I'm not sure. I sure would like to see that though. Guy had a good show on Yellen and IMF today. Guy's always got a good show. CZ minted. The 12K crowd's still here. It could happen. Not likely, but it could. Lisa. That's a good question. With all this being said, how should we prepare for the halving? Things change daily. You know, I was thinking about this. There's a couple of things I thought about. First of all, when I got in 2017 and then we went through the bear market, I didn't really understand about the 4-year cycles and then the Bitcoin halving. Not really, not how much it really pumped up. And then when we got to like 2019, I started to really more understand what was happening. And I just thought, man, I hope I'm not sitting here waiting around with these bags for the next 20 years for things to take off. I think that's the bigger question for people. Then, of course, 2020 happened. We had a Bitcoin halving. We had a lot of different excitement. Tesla was actually using Bitcoin for payments, and Elon Musk was all about it. And then, of course, the people were talking madly about the halving and the reduction of Bitcoin being minted. And then it happened. We had a nice little bull run. I think we got screwed out of the bull run by 3 Arrows Capital and FTX and Celsius and all the different collapses because of all the different shenanigans that were going on there. I think the next one will be bigger. Could be. Maybe I'm wrong. But people will say, well, Rob, that's not what pushes Bitcoin up. It's not the halving. It's all these different other factors. And it's also, of course, the quantitative easing. We talked about this. We've been quantitative tightening for quite some time now, have we not? And hasn't Bitcoin gone from 15,000 to 30,000? It's doubled in that time. So it's not like it can't happen. It's just a reallocation of funds. And then I think to myself, people say, well, it's not the halving. I say, you have to understand, this is the only place this really happens. And I still think that the halving, even if it's not the legitimate reason, it still doesn't matter, because I'm going to talk about it and 1,000 other people like me are going to talk about it. And then that becomes the narrative. And then people hear about it and they repeat it. And how many people get into this market and really FOMO? I don't care how much you really think about it. People still do it, and they still want to hear these narratives. And then it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. They get into it. It's only the really super disciplined that can break away from the narrative and go, you know what, I'm going to short this. And it could happen again. But during that time, I still think it was a bull run. It's the narrative itself, even if it is or isn't, and it'll still be repeated. You don't think Michael Saylor is going to talk about this ad nauseum? You don't think that when he's on Fox News that he's going to talk about it? You don't think all the different people who are in Bitcoin are going to talk about it and tell their friends? It's just going to be that way. Oh, okay. Dave says, rise for other questions. I was late today. Grandkids were soon. My grandson's coming next week, so I know how that goes. I probably will not be doing too many videos on that time. And I think that's it. Okay, guys. I think I answered everything. I'll be over on Twitter today, posting. But that's it for today. So look, again, if you like today's video, thumbs up, consider subscribing, all that good stuff. Got any questions, put them in the comments. And remember, I'm interviewing Charles, the CTO from Ledger, on July 4th. Why the French people picked the 4th of July to do an interview, whatever. So put your comments below, and I'll see if I can get them all answered. But that's it. Thanks so much. See you guys in the next one. Adios.